ShotokuTech News of the Week, bringing you news stories that you might have missed because there were other news stories. You're watching ShotokuTech News of the Week, 2nd May 2020 edition. And I'm glad you are. Look, up in the sky. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? It's a plane. Yes, controversial Baltimore police surveillance planes will take flight next week. A federal judge has ruled that this program could go ahead. The judge states that the air pilot program will only depict individuals as minuscule dots moving about the city landscape. They will not be able to track them over the course of several days, so it does not constitute search under the Fourth Amendment, nor does it burden First Amendment speech activities. Originally, this program was done in secret back in 2016 until it was discovered. Planes had been the subject of intense controversy after it was discovered that in 2016 the police department had been testing out the surveillance planes with flights over the city without city officials or public notice. So that's keep looking up. Originally I was going to cover both of these stories, but this original story linked to this story here. This one's basically talking about how insect populations around the world have declined by 25% over the last 30 years, and there was a link to this one that really echoes what I observe here at my location. It seems like every year it's a different type of pestilence handed to us. Last year was the year of the gnats, where they just took over everything, and we had to put a bug light in the house to finally get rid of them. And there was a year of roaches, etc. But as species of insects die off, there's more opportunistic types of insects that might actually thrive. So, while none of us really like a lot of bugs around us, there's good bugs and then there's not such good bugs. And the problem is, as good bugs die, we rely on animals and insects to pollinate our crops, and so bees are really crucial, and bees are suffering critical decline. There's observation of butterfly populations. Yeah, see here, as these insect populations decline, there's a whole ecosystem that goes along with that. So species of birds, reptiles, and fish that depend on these insects may get wiped out as well. And again, the opportunistic species will move in. Fast-breeding insects will probably thrive because of warmer conditions, and many of their natural enemies will slowly disappear. While land-based species are declining, new studies show that insects that live in fresh water are growing, and this is because of efforts to clean up rivers and lakes. But they're just a fraction of the land-based insects, a very small percentage. Basically, insect declines come from urbanization, the destruction of natural habitats. Springtime, it's for lovers, but if you're Florida man, you have to be careful about the gators in the road. Here, Manatee County Sheriff's Office warned motorists that it's that time of year when gators, fall in love, but might not always be so affectionate. They found a male gator measuring over 9 feet long that had to be removed from the roadway, as it was spotted being aggressive with the traffic. Well, unless you've been living under a rock, this video's been out there for a long time, so it's interesting that this is in the headlines right now. Tom DeLonge, singer from Blink-182, started this consortium, To the Stars Academy of Arts and Sciences, which in 2017 basically was publishing this video that was attributed to the Department of Defense, supposedly pilots chasing an unidentified flying object. The video itself is remarkably boring and very unclear as to what it is they're actually following. It just seems like they're flying in circles or something, but I learned about this back in 2017 from Secure Team 10. It's an interesting channel. I've been subscribed to them for a long time, and if you happen to subscribe to them, let them know ShotokuTech sent you. So after covering a few stories about cats in the zoos, and I did mention domesticated cats had potential to contract COVID-19, it's not surprising now that the CDC would issue new guidelines regarding social distancing for pets. So I know our local park, Palo Verde Park, where you see me fly rockets frequently, has a dog park where people from the community show up and let their dogs run free in a fenced-in area. So it's interesting times, and I definitely I wish I could get the squirrel to stop coming through our yard, because I think that that's a real risk for our health here. But I don't know. See see for yourself, but be careful. Okay, so last week on ShotokuTech News of the Week, I mistakenly read this Arctic stratosphere ozone levels hit record low in March as if it was good news, but then I stand corrected. But fortunately, scientists have seen this largest ever Arctic ozone hole close this week. So I'm issuing a correction and delivering good news. Scientists are saying that this ozone depletion in the northern hemisphere is mainly driven by this polar vortex, and they're saying the polar vortex is still going to be around. So the ozone hole has closed, thank goodness. If you were following ShotokuTech on Twitter, you would have received my tweets informing you of a live feed of this mile-wide asteroid zipping by last Wednesday. This 1998 OR2 makes its closest approach to Earth on Wednesday, April 29th, and the live stream was 11:30 a.m. Pacific, and I was able to tweet twice prior to the live feed. So follow me on Twitter to make sure that you're keeping up with the latest news. Wow, here's an image of this asteroid, and it's the largest one to zip by the Earth so far in 2020. So in 2014, paleontologists had theorized that this Spinosaurus could swim, but they kind of got laughed out of the room. But later on in 2018, they discovered long tail bones as long as 12 inches long, which made it appear that this Spinosaurus has an awesome flipper for a tail. And they even recreated the profile of this fin and found out that it was very efficient. They compared it to the tails of 2 extinct land-dwelling dinosaurs and 2 modern semi-aquatic species. And this tail was 2.6 times more efficient for swimming. This 15-mile ice jam is flooding the streets of Fort McMurray. Fort McMurray is under evacuation for the second time in 4 years. In 2016, they suffered from a huge wildfire. But these huge piles of ice are forcing water into the streets. Sorry to hear about that. Best wishes. This is one crazy beast from the time of the dinosaurs. This ancient mammal, Adelatherium hui, is so weird it's eluded classification for over a decade. Originally uncovered in Madagascar in 1999, it was clearly a mammal, but it had very distinct features. A hole on the top of its snout, and its back legs were splayed out to the sides. They've decided that this Adelatherium hui is part of the Gondwandotherians, which gives insight into how this animal fits in the family tree. Badgers spread their hind legs and use their front legs to shoot dirt between them, so they think this animal was much like a badger. This Fairphone 3 can now be bought with a de-Googled OS. This phone is responsibly sourced and fully repairable and modular, and now you can get it without Google's tracking services. Wow, that's an interesting option. Well, I suppose this is good news. At least we can't be replaced by robots just yet. AI cannot be recognized as an inventor. The U.S. Patent and Trademark Office has rejected 2 patents where the AI system Davos was listed as the inventor. U.S. patent law had previously only specified eligible inventors had to be individuals, but now they've ruled that they have to be natural persons. I guess this will remain in effect until we have our first robot lawyer. So this is a great story about this planet that's 3 times more massive than Jupiter. It's Kepler 88d. This Kepler 88 system is an interesting observation in orbital dynamics. Kepler b orbits Kepler star every 11 days, whereas Kepler c is twice as massive and orbits every 22 days. So there's this orbital resonance that they go on to talk about in this article. Now Kepler D travels around the star every 4 years on some odd elliptical egg-shaped path. These observations are made from the Keck Observatory in Hawaii. The article goes on to discuss other rhythmic symmetry that's been observed in other systems, so it's worth a read. Thank you for watching ShotokuTech News of the Week. Thank you for watching ShotokuTech. Please subscribe, comment, like, and share.